Yo, it's me, it's that SCRFE, bringing you week 3 of the NPCC. Vulpix City are 1-1 heading into week 3, and we're facing off against Brady, aka Brady Active, coach of the Iowa Hawluchas. He's a really great guy, go check him out, I'll leave his links in the description below. And the rosters, as you can see, are on screen. My roster consists of Landeristerium, who is my offensive team move user, Mega Manectric, Fortress, Cresselia, Jellicent, Drapion, Blaziken, who is my super Z move user, Riviera, Clefgate, Superior, and Masquerain. And the Iowa Hawluchas team consists of Tapu Fini, Mew, who is their super Z move user, Entei, Jolteon, their offensive team move user, Zygarde 10%, Rhyperior, Mega Abomasnow, Delmise, Bronzong, Malamar, and Gallade. Looking at Brady's roster, he has a lot of threats that I'm very much concerned about. Tapu Fini is very irritating, it's a very good defogger, very bulky indeed, but can also be offensive, so it's very difficult to build for. You have to build for it offensively and defensively. And speaking of Pokemon that are difficult to build for, he has Mew, and not only does he have Mew, it's a super Z move user. So Mew can pretty much do anything. It can learn any TM, any tutor move, and since it's got access to any Z crystal, well, that's going to be a very difficult Pokemon to play around, but to play around it I will try. He has Entei, very hard hitting, but for the most part it's going to be Choice Banded or Choice Scarfed. Usually it's going to be locked in. Sometimes it won't be, but one thing's for sure, it's definitely going to be shiny. Yeah, Jolteon. Jolteon is it's a really good Pokemon. Base 130 speed, quick Volt Switcher, fast electric types are excellent to have in draft format. As you can see, I prioritised one, which is on screen right now and is coming to this battle. Could be an issue, but I do have Landeristerium, and it's not like Jolteon will just be able to click HPIs to one-shot my Landorus either, as you'll see soon. He has Zygarde 10% and Rhyperior, 2 ground types, which are problematic for Mega Manectric, but neither of them can break my Cresselia, so I'm kind of hoping that he doesn't bring both. I'm pretty sure he'll bring one because of my Mega Manectric, hoping he doesn't bring both, because I definitely have things to deal with them. Mega Abomasnow is somewhat of an issue actually. Ice and Grass is pretty difficult to switch into for my team. I have Cresselia, which can bulk out the hits well, but if Cresselia gets poisoned, or if it has HP Fire from a Fortress, it could become difficult to deal with. It has Delmise, really good Rapid Spinner, but pretty slow. Really good attack stat, but it's very difficult to switch into. Considering with its Steelworker ability, it pretty much has 3 stabs: Grass, Ghost, and Steel. He has Bronzong, which is a very reliable Stealth Rocker, really bulky Pokemon, really good typing in Steel and Psychic. It has 2 great abilities in Levitate and Heat Proof, negating one of its weaknesses. And it also gives him the potential for Trick Room, which would be pretty scary. Going up against a Delmise or a Rhyperior or a Mega Abomasnow Trick Room. He has Malamar. Not really concerned about Malamar. It has Contrary and it can click Super Bar and get some boosts, but I have plenty of Pokemon that can U-turn, and it won't be able to set up in time to be an issue. And it finally has Gallade. Gallade, which is it's okay, fighting Psychic, it's good. It's kind of underwhelming compared to Pokemon like Medicham, which I personally think is better, and it's not its Mega form, so it's not something I really have to be concerned about, especially with me having Cresselia. So, jumping into my team, first off is my Mega Manectric. Now, he does have 2 ground types, but I'm feeling like only one of them is going to come. And I've got Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Hidden Power, Ground. I don't think he'll be too keen to switch his ground types into this. I think he'd be more likely to switch in something like Jolteon, which is why I do have the Hidden Power Ground to hit that thing. The Hidden Power Ground also hits Rhyperior if I do need to chip away at that ever so slightly. I won't be going Paving Battleground on Rhyperior unless it's maybe around 30% though, because Rhyperior is a very bulky Pokemon when it's invested. Flamethrower absolutely nukes Mega Abomasnow, does really good damage to Dhelmise, it's an easy to KO. And outside of that, basically Mega Manectric can just Volt Switch around this team. Thunderbolt is really nice for Tapu Fini. Yeah, I think it'd be a really good pivot for this match, because my idea in this match is to pivot around getting to Blaziken, who, as you can see, has Sword Stance and Baton Pass. Just dual stab for Blaziken. I've got enough speed on. Actually, I've got enough speed on my Mega Manectric for max speed Jolteon. Got enough speed on Blaziken for a modest max speed Tapu Fini. Flare Blitz and High Jump Kick hit his team for the most part really well. The only thing it doesn't really hit is his Tapu Fini. But then I've got Sword Dance and Baton Pass. Now I would imagine he would bring a defensive Tapu Fini to deal with things like my Blaziken, my Landorus. So I'm expecting this Blaziken to be able to outspeed any Tapu Fini he would bring, which means that if I can get a Sword Stance on a switch, because if he has Mega Abomasnow in, he's not likely to stay in on Blaziken, I can SDO. Baton Pass out into either my Landorus or my Drapion, which are two Pokemon that really hurt his team badly. So that's basically the strategy in this game, to Baton Pass into either one of these and start running through his team. Fiery and Z will power up Flare Blitz, meaning that I don't have to Baton Pass if I've set up at +2. Tapu Fini only needs to be at like 75%, and Inferno Overdrive at +2 will knock that thing out if it's max HP. And outside of that, it'll just do really good damage to anything not named Rhyperior, really. Yeah, so next up is my Hazard Setup and Hazard Remover, Fortress. Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, Rapid Spin, Max Special Defense. This is my Mega Abomasnow check. Also switches into Dhelmise really well, which is the reason I have Toxic, because outside of, I can switch into it well, but I can't really do anything to it. So I have Toxic there for Dhelmise. Earthquake hits his team. Fortress isn't here to be offensive, but Earthquake is the best move neutrally to chip away his team. Stealth Rock is going to be really nice. It's going to force things like Tapu Fini or Mew to defog. It'll chip away Enter, taking 25% off that thing. Mega Abomasnow too. It'll force Dhelmise to Rapid Spin. So yeah, that's going to be really nice. And I have Rapid Spin too, so if he does manage to get Hazards up, then I'll be able to Rapid Spin. And if he wants to switch in Dhelmise to try and stop that Rapid Spin, I can Toxic that thing, put it on a timer, so I will eventually get rid of his Hazards. I have the Ockerberry there for the aforementioned potential Hidden Power Fire on Mega Abomasnow, which I expect to go for my Fortress, because otherwise Fortress kind of beats Mega Abomasnow when it's specially defensive. Well, it doesn't really, unless it has like a Steel type move, but he doesn't know that. But yeah, that's my Fortress. I think it'll be able to frame decent work. Another good pivot for his team. Next up is my Landorus Therian, not bringing a Z-move Landorus this time, obviously, because I'm bringing Z-move Blaziken, but Yachi Berry Landorus. The Yachi Berry is obviously there for if I do pass into Landorus and I do get a Rock Polish up, the only thing that can really threaten Landorus is Ice Sharp and Mega Abomasnow. That's why the Yachi Berry is there. Once I've got a Rock Polish up and got Sword Stance fast into this thing, he basically loses. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Landorus is again there to be a nice pivot too though, it's not just there to be a sweeper, which is why I have U-turn. Earthquake on knockoff. Coverage team actually really well. Earthquake Fini, knockoff Mew, or Earthquake Mew. Earthquake Enter, Earthquake Jolteon, Earthquake. It's basically Earthquake everything outside of Dhelmise, and now U-turn on Mega Abomasnow. If the Archberry is intact, if not, otherwise I'll obviously be hard switching out. But Landorus is a huge threat to his team. It'll probably be my lead because it matches up pretty well against his likely leads. Because then obviously I can scout out what he's leading with. If he's led with like a physical attacker, and the Intimidate's going to drop that attack, and you know, we'll switch out, give me momentum right at the start of the game, which will be really nice. Max attack, enough speed for Adamant Enter, because if he wants to bring extreme speed Enter, it has to be Adamant. And yeah, I've gone jolly, just enough speed to outspeed that, which means I can knock it out with Earthquake before it can do anything to me, outside of extreme speed, if that's what it wants to go for. Max attack, rest in HP. Pretty straightforward really. Next up is Drapion. Drapion, like I said, probably the second biggest threat to his team outside of Landorus. Bringing a Black Sludge Drapion this time, and it's in the similar vein to Landorus, which has Rock Polish to set up after getting a Sword Stance passed from Blaziken. This Drapion has Agility, which I'm hoping to set up and again sweep his team with. It'll probably be actually easier to sweep with this moveset than Landorus's, because Landorus has U10 obviously, but Drapion has Knockoff, Poison Jab and Earthquake, which again covers his team really well. Rhyperior will definitely need to be weakened somewhat for even a +2 Earthquake to knock it out. But outside of that, there's not really much that can stand up to a +2 Drapion that's at +2 speed as well. I've got a lot of HP into this Drapion as well, because I've got enough speed to outspeed a min speed Mew, a defensive Mew. And not much can Oko this Drapion. I mean, Rhyperior can, a Banded Zygarde can. I think that's it really. So if I can pass into Drapion, it's going to be fantastic. Outside of that though, it's going to be a nice switch into the Mew. I can knock that thing off, or scare it out at least, knock something off. Threatens his Tapu Fini. Really good thing about Drapion is it threatens all his hazard removal, threatens Fini, Mew, and Delmise, which is really nice. It's just a big threat to his team, and I can definitely see it putting in work, especially if I can pass a Sword Stance into it. And finally, for the first time this season, I'm bringing my Jellicent cardboard. If you get that nickname, then you're amazing and I love you. Leftovers Jellicent with Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Recover and Taunt. I needed a switch in for Entei, really, after the other 5 mons. Didn't really have a good switch in for Banded Entei. This Jellicent is one it can eat up any 2 hits that Entei wants to throw at me, even if it's Flare Blitz, which is really nice. It's max defense with a little bit of HP and a lot of speed. The speed is for min speed Tapu Fini, because I have Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Recover and Taunt, and if he is min speed Tapu Fini, I can outspeed that thing and taunt it so it can't defog, it can't mine, anything like that, which would be really, really nice. Recover for obvious reasons. And Shadow Ball and Energy Ball I thought was the best neutral coverage against his team. I could have gone Shadow Ball Scald, but I really wanted to hit Tapu Fini harder, so I decided Energy Ball. But yeah, these two moves cover his team really well. And Jellicent again is going to be fantastic switching to his offensive threats. Not much can deal with this outside of Mega Abomasnow, like Delmise to a point, but that thing will be taking a lot from Shadow Ball anyway. Jolteon. So yeah, I can definitely see this Jellicent putting in work. And I think I've got a good team to take on any 6 that Brady brings, to be honest. Yeah, and if I can pass a Sword Stance into either Landorus or Drapion, I think we'll be in good shape. But yeah, that's the team builder, so we'll be getting right on into the battle. Alright, we're back for the battle with Brady. As you can see, my team is on the left. Landorus, Fortress, Blaziken, Manectric, Drapion and Jellicent. And as you can see, Brady brought his Mew, his Entei, his Zygarde 10%, his Mega Abomasnow, his Rhyperior and his Delmise. Little surprised not to see Tapu Fini, but very pleased to not see it as well. And what I can tell from this is that if I can pass into Drapion and get a speed boost as well and agility up, as long as I worn down the Rhyperior, I can pretty much win the game. But it's going to take it's going to take a little while to get to that point, so I'm going to have to work around his threats accordingly. But as I said in the team builder, I think my best lead is probably going to be Landorus, especially looking at these 6, because the only things that are going to scare me out really is Mega Abomasnow. Looking at his team, he has offensive Entei, Zygarde, Hyperia is probably Stealth Rocks, Dhelmise could be offensive too with Rapid Spin, which means I think that the Mew is defensive. So if he does lead with this Mew, I'm expecting to outspeed that with Landorus because I am jolly with almost max speed. But yeah, let's see what Brady leads with as we get on into the battle. So yeah, I lead my Landorus, Brady does lead with his Mew. I think I'm going to outspeed, so I just click U-turn. It turns out he is a fast Mew, and he goes for the Ice Beam, pops my Yachigrave, but I do live that. So I do go for the U-turn, getting a really nice chunk of damage off onto the Mew as I go into my Drapion. I'm just going to click Knock Off here, there's not much Mew can do. Mew decides to stay in, click Ice Beam as I click the Knock Off and get rid of Mew really early, which is really nice. No item was removed either, so I'm thinking that that must have been a Z-move Mew. He goes into a Zygarde, and I'm going to switch into my Jellicent, expecting 1000 arrows. He actually clicks Earthquake, so my Landorus would have been a really good switch there, but that is actually not choice banded damage, which is really nice to see. Otherwise, that would have 2-KO'd. I'm just going to recover up here as he brings in his Dhelmise. I'd be switching his Fortress definitely, so I'm going to go into that as he goes to the Swords Dance with Dhelmise, which is pretty spooky, so I'm going to go for the Toxic straight away, start wearing this thing down so that I can revenge kill it easier. As he goes for another Sword Stance, getting to +4, just getting a bit spooky now. He can actually OHKO my Fortress if he goes for the attack with Shadow Claw. He actually goes for another Sword Stance, which gets him up +6 as I set up my Stealth Rocks. I feel like he maybe should have just attacked there. But regardless, now that Fortress is still at full health, I didn't expect it to be. I'm going to start my Landorus instead. Because Fortress is still very useful for his Abomasnow in particular. And I'm going to bring in my Blaziken now. I'm going to click Flare Blitz because I want to get rid of this thing. The Occa Berry pops and my heart drops, but the Dhelmise still dies, which I am so thankful for, because when I saw that berry pop, I was terrified. As he brings in his Rhyperior, I'm going to Baton Pass out here, just checking to see if he wants to make a double switch. I go back into my Jellicent, and this Earthquake does around 35%. That is not attack invested Rhyperior, otherwise it would have done more. I'm going to click Shadow Ball here, because I feel like he's definitely going to switch out. He's not going to stay in, wanting to get scalded. As he brings in his Zygarde, hard in on my Jellicent, as he just straight up clicks Outrage. And I'm going to spam Recover for a few turns here, because I'm going to wait for him to get confused. I could go into my Fortress, but it is specially defensive, so even though it resists the Outrage, I don't want it taking damage unless Zygarde has at least a chance to hit itself in confusion. I'm not going to be staying in for the entire time with Jellicent. I'm just going to keep clicking Recover until it gets to the point where I'm at health that I'm happy with to switch out, so I can switch back in on Zygarde and Rhyperior, but also at a point where it's confused, so I can switch in my Fortress to take the Zygarde on. And in comes Fortress. As he is confused, he does get through it though. The Outrage doesn't do too much though, because he is not choice banded. Even if he was, that's not 2-KOing by any means. He becomes confused as he was locked in for the last turn, as I click Earthquake, which is doing a chunk to the Zygarde. Doesn't take it out, unfortunately. He does stay in though, and actually goes for the Outrage again. I expect him to switch out there, but that's great for Fortress, because Fortress picks up a kill and knocks out the Zygarde. As in comes Entei. At this point, I don't really see the point in saving my Fortress, as I believe he may have expected my Blaziken to come in. He clicks Extreme Speed, either expecting my Blaziken or maybe a misclick, because I get a good 50% off with Earthquake. As he goes for the Flare Blitz, knocks out my Fortress. The Occa Berry is really not going to save me there, but that's fine. Fortress did a fantastic job. And Jellicent can come in now, and it gets to click Shadow Ball for free, basically. As Entei goes for the Toxic, which is fine at this point. I would have really disliked that early on in the battle, but I think this late on in the battle, mid to late game, I can live with being toxic on Jellicent, as he brings in his Abomasnow, takes 25% from the rocks, which is really nice, sets up the hill. I'm not staying in here, I don't want to take a grass attack, so I'm going to go straight into my Drapion, expecting the Seed-Bomb, Digger Drain, Wood Hammer, any of those. As he does Mega Evolve, he does go for the Seed-Bomb, which does a chunk to Drapion, but now I get to click Poison Jab, and that does a lot of damage because Mega Abomasnow is very bulky. But he does knock me out with the Blizzard. I can bring in my Blaziken now, and you're going to see the overkill of the year now, because he clicks Ice Shard, and I'm going to go for the Inferno Drive, because outside of this Abomasnow, all he has left is the Rhyperior, and there's no point in me clicking the Z-move on that, so just basically for style points, I'll click the Z-move, knock out about 10 Mega Abomasnows with that. As Brady brings in his last Pokemon, which is the Rhyperior. I can still lose here if he is like a weird Rock Polish weakness policy set, but because he wasn't attack invested, I don't think he is. I go for the high jump kick, he just clicks Earthquake, knocks out my Blaziken, and I could go into Jellicent, click Energy Ball, but Mega Manectric hasn't been in the battle. It's had 2 terrible weeks to start off, so I want to give it a bit of glory. So I'm Mega Evolve, I'm going to click the Hidden Power Ground to knock out the Rhyperior. I Intimidate it too, and he has the Shucker Berry, which makes me feel so sorry for my poor Manectric as he clicks Earthquake. And Manectric lives! Oh Manectric, you legend, you're finally doing something good! And Manectric does finish off the battle with a Hidden Power Ground, and I defeat Brady. Vulpix City defeats the Iowa Hawluchas 2-0, bringing our record to 2-1 in Season 4 of the NPCC. Great game to Brady, really enjoyed that match. Your team's great. It really surprised me that you didn't bring the Tapu Fini, but you had the Mew, caught me off guard at the start, really weakened my Landorus. Mega Abomasnow was a nightmare to prepare for, and that Delmice getting up to +6. Whew. If it had lived after the Shucker Berry had popped from Blaziken's Flirtlets, I would have been really sad indeed. But like I said, Brady's a great guy. Go check him out if you haven't already. You probably know him, but either way, I'll leave his links in the description below. But yeah, that is it for week 3 of season 4 of the NPCC. Vulpix City are back on track with a victory, and next week we will be facing. Oh, who is it that we face? Oh, it's Ioku and his Blackthorn City Frogadiers. So yeah, come back next week for that matchup, and I'll see you then. Peace.